Y a quelqu'un? Où es-tu? Il faut de l'herbe.
De nanite?
Donna, c'est toi qui parle?
Chasse.
On prépare le
Ce
raid.
mec-là, tu le largues au pôle Nord, sur la banquise avec un slip de bain pour tout vêtement, sans une brosse à dents, et demain après-midi, tu le vois débarquer au bord de ta piscine avec un sourire jusqu'aux oreilles et les poches bourrées de pesos.
Ah ouais, peut-être, ouais, c'est possible, hein. C'est possible, hein. Demain, je vais débarquer, mais j'aurai pas de piscine, je serai pas bourré de peso. Même full vite, c'est pas comme je pourrais la battre. Avec un petit tunnel pour commencer, hein, je pense, hein. Pardon? Tout est possible. Oh merde. Tiens le coup, tiens le coup, tiens le coup. Merde. Quoi, ici? Ouais, ça fait quoi alors? Oh mais j'ai rien de spécial dedans. Allez, on lance. Oh les gars. On lance Chicken Police. Comment est-ce qu'on aura bientôt fini le jeu? Faire télécharger le jeu, hein, parce que normalement on a dû interrompre le live, vous vous rappelez? Normalement on aurait dû aller plus loin que ça, mais bon. J'ai interrompu le jeu parce que le jeu a planté. Comme mes câbles ici sont tous changés. Bon.
And his name is John C.
John Cena, ok. Pas gaz. Bienvenue le plus shot.
Honestly, I wasn't expecting anything good, but this.
Eh, c'est bon, ça. J'ai téléchargé le jeu, ça marche. C'est pour ça que je relance le jeu ce soir. On voulait changer de jeu, mais bon.
Ooh, just like a horror movie.
Je pense, ouais. Je sais pas comment je fais, mais je dirais pareil.
I was thinking the same.
Appearances can be deceiving.
Let's hope so.
What the fuck? Wow! Mais attends, c'est moi ou. Wow! Voilà l'infirmière. Ouais, j'ai vu ça. Mais maintenant, l'autre chose que je devrais faire, c'est. Je sais qu'il y a moyen de mentionner 4 autres chaînes, 4 ou 5 autres chaînes, de potes qui font les streams. Et à la chaîne déjà que je vais mettre dedans. Et je vais voir pour 4 autres, quoi. Il y en a une que je sais déjà que je vais faire, c'est un pote qui va commencer les streams. Il s'appelle Jaja. C'est le dernier qui est arrivé sur le Discord d'ailleurs. Ouais, j'ai vu, bah c'est des gens que j'invite dans notre Discord, là, des potes, des amis. Madame?
Ah, like an angel from heaven, isn't she?
Yeah, half of her's still up there, I think.
Oh putain! Ah, ça commence bien! Ça commence bien!
That's rude.
C'est méchant!
Oh, boo-hoo.
Dimanche soir, c'est pour le. Eh, qu'on appelle encore. Dimanche 6, c'est prévu pour le. Le party, c'est ça? Oh, je suis chaud. S'il y a du monde, ouais, je suis chaud. Parce que rien que nous deux, ça va être chiant. Pour moi qu'on soit 4-5 minimum.
Of all the great wild ones,
Greetings, miss.
is it really you?
On vous voit pas, madame.
Well, yes.
Ouais, bah, fais une demande, mais Sonic 2, peut-être pas venir, quoi, parce que 2 seulement. Ah bon? Ah, mais il faut au moins 4-5, hein.
Yes, it really is you, the chicken police.
Je préfère faire chacun pour soi, c'est peut-être plus fun, je trouve.
I'm afraid so.
Of all that's furry and plumy, that's fantastic. Oh my goodness.
Il y a la troisième personne?
Miss, we'd like to ask...
Please, don't be scared. I'm just really excited. You know, I've read every book about you and your adventures, and I even collected newspaper articles when I was a little girl.
Après, je peux essayer de voir sur, sur mon Discord l'autre où je suis. Ok, bah plus tard. Bah merci pour de te passer, hein.
Indeed.
You can't imagine what an honor it is to meet you in person.
Madame, je vois pas.
We really...
Oh God, oh God, oh God. Take a deep breath,
Miranda.
Miranda. Take a deep breath.
Ah, la Bretagne. Bah. La Bretagne, hein, ça, le drapeau de la Bretagne. Miranda, du calme.
Are you okay, miss?
Yes, I am. I just needed some air. So, dear detectives, Santino and Martin, what?
Well, miss, we have some questions, if you don't mind.
I'd love to answer all of your questions, detectives.
Elle est chaude, hein, la prof, la Miranda, là. Succès? Voilà, infirmière fan à l'hôpital psychiatrique. Ah, d'accord.
Say, miss, what can you tell us about this place?
Our institution was standing even before the Great Meat War, and during the war, it was transformed into a military hospital. Since then, we are relentlessly working on treating injured minds under the leadership of Dr. Quetzal, the famous specialist.
Oh, mais l'autre au milieu me fait peur.
The place seems pretty
Oh
empty.
putain, c'est un fucking
Many
serpent.
people work here?
We have 32 residents and 7 nurses, including me. We also have a 3-person maintenance and cleaning staff, and, of course, the heart and soul of our institution, Dr. Quetzal himself.
I see. Now, this Dr. Quetzal, is he the director here?
Exactly. Director, scientist, researcher, patron, and doctor. And even a friend.
Friend.
Quite a guy.
He certainly is.
So who is this Dr. Quetzal exactly?
He's a world-famous researcher of the mind, Mr. Featherland. He published countless books in the fields of psychology and
Ça sent le coup
psychotherapy.
foireux, moi je vous le dis.
Psycho what?
Unraveling the mind. It's the most crucial mission of the century, Mr. McChicken.
That's really good to know.
Ouais.
So this doctor's some celebrity, right? Does he usually meet other important persons?
Faudrait que je refasse ce truc en dessous quand même, la bannière.
I'm not sure I know what you mean.
Well, like Mr. Hobart Wessler, for example.
Ah, yes. That's something you should ask the doctor himself, but unfortunately, I don't think he has time right now.
He's swamped, is he?
Exactly, Mr. Featherland. He is very busy. All the time.
Ok.
I thought so. What can you say about this, miss? Have you seen anything like it?
Of course. Our residents wear these for identification. But how did you come by it? They only wear them inside the institution.
Huh.
The wristband does belong to one of our residents, but I'm afraid I'm not allowed to tell you more due to regulations.
Allons, mademoiselle.
Oh, come on, Miranda. It's us, the chicken police.
Chicken police.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Miranda, this case is a matter of life
Non,
and
mais le
death.
gars, il est déjà mort, ça sert à rien.
Lives are in your hands.
All right. All right. I'll do it. Albert Wessler.
Figures. Just as we thought.
Thank you, Miranda. We'll never forget this.
Please, don't make me blush. And don't tell anyone you heard it from me.
Oh, we won't. I promise.
So when can we talk to Mr. Wessler?
I need to ask Dr. Quetzal. Please wait here.
Je crois qu'il est occupé.
Thank you. This guy seems strangely familiar to me.
You don't say. You've been treated here too. That would explain a lot.
Oh, don't be stupid. I'm serious. Take a closer look.
No.
Quoi, c'est un des deux flics?
Well,
Qui? Pas bien, c'est fou.
No, it can't be. Are you telling me it's him? M.B. Davis himself?
MB Davis, c'est qui MB Davis?
I'm sure of it, pal. It seems the gossip was true. The eternal king of jazz in a madhouse.
Putain, c'est celui qui est dans... Ah, c'était...
Oh, no. The poor devil.
It doesn't matter how big a star you once were. Ending up lonely and crazy in a rotting insane asylum in the middle of nowhere is like the universe restoring its balance.
That was very poetic of you, Marty. Almost deep. Careful you don't drown.
Poétique.
Cluck you.
Va te faire pondre. J'adore, putain. Il faudrait que je refasse après tous les clips, tout ça, quoi. Hein. Quoi, la fresque? What the fuck?
This picture.
Well, it must have been made by one of the patients, so it's understandable.
It's the handiwork of our director. He's not only a scientist, but he's a great painter, too.
Dégueu.
I see.
Well, it's lovely to have a hobby, right?
That's right, Marty.
Le roi qui donne à bouffer.
Even if you manage to escape, there's nothing but hills and forests for 100 miles.
Ouais.
Imagine how many poor lunatic ghosts must haunt those woods.
Ooh, Sonny, you're creeping me out.
Non mais les asiles dans les jeux, c'est vraiment ce qu'il y a de pire. Rappelez-vous Alice Madness Return, la scène de l'asile. Parce que les gens sont fous en fait, les gens sont fous. C'est même pas que c'est glauque, c'est monstrueux. Les gens sont fous, il n'y a plus rien qui a de sens. Un python vert, putain, le mec c'est un python, comment tu es malade?
We should go to reception first.
Dr. Quetzal will see you. He's waiting for you in his office. Up the stairs, all the way down the hall, until the last door.
What a surprise. It's enough to mention Wessler's name and all the doors are open.
I wouldn't want to get mixed up in this, but do you think Albert is in danger?
2 secondes, les gars, je reviens. Ouais, il risque plus rien, je dirais.
Danger? What do you mean?
We haven't heard from him since he disappeared, and we're really, really worried.
Il ne risque plus rien là où il est.
I see. We don't know yet, miss, but let's hope for the best.
Great wild ones protect him.
Where is he?
No idea, Marty.
The smell of all that's furry. I'll never get used to it.
Well, reptiles have a disgusting body odor, Marty, but they feel exactly the same about us.
Exactly.
Oh putain, il est trop badass! Il est trop badass, le Quetzal.
Great wild ones, you scared the hell out of me.
I already sensed your arrival from afar. You know, snakes have a different sense of smell, and birds used to be our prey once upon a time.
Well, yeah. Luckily, we're living in civilized times.
Lucky. Please take a seat. How can I help you, gentlemen?
Oh.
Your office is rather Puritan. Simple, I mean.
Ain't that the truth?
Well, yes. I can't let my mind wander from my work. I only keep what's essential in my office.
Ouais, c'est pas
I see. That makes sense.
dis quoi? Par fenêtre.
Why do you have bars on your windows?
Because it's a room like all the others, and I'm just an animal too, like all our residents.
C'est pas faux.
With the significant difference of you being a doctor and not a patient.
C'est un
Am
point
I
de vue de
right?
perspective, hein, c'est tout. Hein.
It's not as big of a difference as you'd think. To be honest, gentlemen, your visit is anything but a surprise. I could even say I was expecting it.
Comme pas de mettre avec les 2 autres, hein, avec le croco et le rat. Hein.
What an introduction.
Please forgive me. I have the bad habit of immediately getting into the middle of things. How very rude of me. My name is Dr. Sessuous Quetzalcoatl, but most call me Dr. Quetzal to keep it simple.
Ouais. C'est une invocation de Final Fantasy en fait.
The name is Santino Featherland, and this is my partner, Martin McChicken,
From the predatory division of the Clawville Police Department. Your fame is one step ahead of you.
We're used to it.
Non mais il y a un des poulets qui... J'adore comment on voit les petits détails, l'autre qui cligne les yeux, l'autre qui a la langue qui sort là.
Certainly.
We have some questions about one of your patients, if you don't mind. We'd like to talk to him, if that's possible.
Please be specific, Detective.
Look, Doctor, we're too tired to play cat and mouse. Not that snake and chicken sounds any better.
Very funny, I must say. Just what I expected from you two detectives.
Ah, pas mal.
We know you know it's about Albert Wessler, Ibn Wessler's secret twin. Ever since we've said his name, all the doors have miraculously opened. That's what we call a bullseye.
Well, yes, why should I deny it? We're talking about a rather illustrious patient here, who's also a very particular medical case.
Now, that's much more interesting. So, are you willing to talk about him?
Because Albert, regrettably, has disappeared, and you are police detectives, I have no reason not to talk to you. Of course, I'm at your service. But you must understand, I can't disclose information about my patients.
Not even if it's a matter of life and death.
Il est mort, c'est pas la peine.
Everything's a matter of life and death in here, Detective. This is a hospital, even if it's primarily for the mind, not the body.
Still, I'd like to give the impossible a try.
Please, Detective, just do your job, and I'll do mine.
Ok.
What kind of a place is this exactly? I assume it wasn't built as an insane asylum.
It used to be a mansion.
C'est Arkham, les gars.
Construction started during the occupation in 622. Then it stood empty for almost a century until finally it went to the crown of Clawville when Hector's great-grandfather took the throne. The rest is history.
Les gars, j'ai envie de jouer à Batman Arkham Asylum maintenant. Ça.
How long have you been working here?
I've worked here for more than 30 years, but it's been in my family's possession for almost 150 years.
So if I count correctly, as soon as it went to the crown, it was seized by your family.
That's almost accurate, Mr. Featherland.
Ok.
What a lovely inheritance.
Tu parles d'un héritage?
How long was Albert a resident of the institution?
For quite some time, his first symptoms surfaced in his teens. Depression, panic attacks, and schizophrenia.
On va dire là, 10% de la population de la Belgique, on va dire.
Was he brought here immediately after the first signs that something wasn't right?
You know, the biggest problem with an opinion on insanity is that animals are ashamed of it. That's the reason our institution stands out here in the middle of nowhere.
Because animals would rather hide what they're afraid to face.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Ouais.
As far as I know, the Wessler family wasn't exceptionally wealthy.
Indeed, they were rather poor, but we offer our services gratis.
Gratuit? Ça, c'est un mot qui n'existe plus, hein, les gars.
Then how do you sustain yourselves?
By the grace of the treasury of King Hector III, of course.
J'ai trop
I
mangé.
wouldn't have guessed that.
My family and the royal dynasty had always been on good terms, Mr. Santino.
Tell me, Doctor, do you know Madame Zavas?
Just like everybody else, I've heard of her, but I never had the pleasure of meeting her in person. I'm sure she's an interesting case.
Ouais.
Oh, you can be sure about that. I'd gladly get you two together if I had the chance. A spare cell would suit her very much.
Tranquille, hein, avec la madame.
Is that so?
As it turns out, she likes small, narrow, secret places.
Oh, I see. What a coincidence.
Ah, le gars veut la pécho.
Dr. Quetzal's a real mystery. But I can turn that to my advantage. I just need to focus on the strangest pieces of the puzzle.
Ok.
So, when did Albert become a resident of your institute?
Albert and Hobart, or Ibn as you call him, arrived here almost exactly 4 years ago.
Could you describe that day more specifically?
It was not long after New Year's Eve, maybe the first week of the year, if I'm not mistaken. It was sleeting that day. Wind was banging incessantly.
Les gars, en tout cas, on comprend de moins en moins l'histoire.
Power was going out for short periods of time.
What was your first impression of them?
I already knew the Wessler name. I knew who they were. Or at least I knew one of them, Hobart Wessler. He was famous, Gangster, moneylender,
Voilà.
celebrity,
Pardon.
lover.
And Albert?
He was new to me, an invisible grey ghost. The family had tried to keep his existence a secret.
Why?
Why?
Because they were ashamed of him, of course, Mr. Featherland. That's how it usually is.
What was your first impression of him?
He was silent, but observed everything that surrounded him. His eyes were constantly moving, never stopped for a second.
Was he afraid?
I wouldn't say so. It seemed to me that he wanted to move into our institution voluntarily. It looked as if he couldn't wait to be here, alone, locked up, in silence.
Les gars, le
and
serpent qui peut
darkness.
hypnotiser et je peux pas m'endormir.
Didn't you think of that as unusual?
Of course I did, but who am I to judge? It was rather special treatment.
Direct, dans le livre à la jungle. Essayer de m'hypnotiser et m'endormir. Arrête de bouger comme ça en plus, mec. Arrête. Il va m'endormir. Il faut que j'arrête de le regarder. Putain, avec sa langue en plus.
What kind of special treatment did Albert?
You know, if an institution like ours has to accept a Westler as a guest, there's bound to be
Arrête
some
de bouger.
favoritism.
Il manipule ses yeux comme ça et moi je viens de dos quoi.
And complete secrecy, I guess.
Yes, but that's the case for all our patients, Mr. Featherland.
Arrête de bouger, ça m'énerve.
Of course. So in what way did he receive more than the others?
Basically, we don't admit anyone into our institution without a complete and thorough prior assessment. In the
Je reviens,
case
il
of
m'endort, le gars.
Albert, we put that aside.
Non. Ok.
So you didn't even know if he had anything wrong with him?
Initially, no. He was more of a guest than a patient.
Ok.
How did you see Albert when you first met?
Albert was shy and reserved, like a ghost. He almost never touched anything. It was evident he was exceptionally intelligent. He measured and observed everything around him.
What else?
He was delicate and graceful, almost like a woman. Yes. He was rather feminine. He was an artist, Mr. Featherland, a magnificent painter, and a rather good writer, too. Sometimes
And why did he have to be locked up?
I asked the same thing at first.
Are you telling me Albert had multiple personalities?
We found out very quickly that there was no other reason for the cause of his seizures. He had a cold and calculating personality.
He had these seizures from the beginning.
Yes, Mr. Featherland, but they started to intensify after Albert left our institution for the first time.
He
Oh.
did what? Left the institution? More than once?
Oh, yes, Mr. Featherland. Albert left the institution on several
Ouais.
occasions.
Elle servait de
until
nourriture
the
au
last
cafard.
time, when he failed to come back.
Quetzal's not only very observant, but he's addicted to details. I must focus on that if I want to get closer to the truth. Focus. Addicted to details.
Ok. Alors, bon. Quand et pourquoi Albert a quitté l'hôpital? Vous me cachez des choses, ça sert à rien. Comment avez-vous pu laisser Albert quitter cet endroit? Alors Albert pouvait entrer et sortir comme bon lui semble.
When and why did Albert leave the institution for the first time?
It was about 2 years ago. Mr. Hobart Wessler appeared and demanded we let his brother go free. Naturally, we obliged. We had no idea if we'd ever see him again.
But you did.
Je sais pas pourquoi je l'entends parler, hein. Il me fait penser à la voix de Pegasus dans Yu-Gi-Oh! En japonais. Mec, c'est de l'anglais.
He returned the same day. Albert was ecstatic. He was unrestrained. I could almost say happy.
Je suis prêt à. Maintenant, à me lancer un Yugi Boy à la fin, quoi. Tellement qu'il a la même intonation de voix.
That was unusual for him.
I had never seen him like that before, Mr. Featherland. He just smiled and stared at the empty wall for hours.
Yugi Boy. Ah, vraiment, je dirais, il me fait trop penser à la voix de Pegasus.
Did he ever tell you what happened to him outside?
Of course he did. Albert and I had a good relationship. He was working on a painting for his brother.
Ah, le tableau qu'on a vu à
Was it
l'entrée.
a painting of a lovely lady cat?
Oh, exactly. So you already knew about that.
Rien à voir avec le tableau d'entrée.
Yes, Dr. Quetzal, I've seen it. Did Albert tell you how he felt about the painting?
From the first moment, he loved it. He was fascinated by it. But who could blame him? A little diversity, fresh air, a beautiful lady, and of course, on top of all that, he could finally do what he loved best: paint.
Paint.
Which could be a surprisingly effective therapy.
It could have been. Unfortunately, these excursions have greatly intensified his seizures. They have become more frequent and extreme.
Crème.
So Albert left on many occasions to continue working on the painting.
Exactly, Mr. Featherland. Every time he came back, he was like a different person. But unfortunately, his seizures also multiplied and became more dangerous.
D'accord.
More dangerous.
Albert was hurting himself. And on one occasion, he even tried to hurt me. It was unprecedented. It seemed his confined personality was taking over their shared mind entirely, piece by piece.
Ouais, non, bah, moi je vis dans les asiles, dans tous les jeux que j'ai fait quand il y avait un asile, c'était l'horreur. Ce jeu-là, Alice Madness Return, Psychonaut aussi, le niveau de l'asile.
Do you think the painting caused it?
Not the painting, Mr. Featherland.
But its subject.
Exactly. He was obsessed, right until that fateful day when he returned to us for the last time.
What exactly happened that day, Doctor?
Ouais.
It wasn't Hobart who brought his brother back that day, but two of his gorillas. Not literally, I mean. And Albert was in a terrible, terrible state.
Il paraît que c'était le bélier et l'autre.
What happened to him?
I don't like to talk about that, Mr. Featherland.
It could be vital to the case, Dr. Quetzal. Don't back down.
Oh, you're right. There's no use turning back now. So, Albert's tongue was torn out, or cut off, I don't know exactly. And he was blinded in one eye. Or rather, one of his eyes was missing entirely.
Oh, ça c'est. Oh non, ça c'est la torture, ça. La torture, c'est pas un fou, c'est de la torture, mec.
So you're saying Albert was brought back horribly mutilated?
Yes. And they didn't give any explanation as to what had happened. They simply told me it was some kind of accident.
Un accident. Même dans Senseiya, là, qu'on se prenne, je sais pas combien d'attaques de chevalier d'or, Pas dans un état pareil, quoi. Arrête tes blagues, c'est pas un accident, hein.
Dr. Quetzal is cold and professional, but he's also very confused. Maybe it's cruel, but I must exploit his vulnerability
Laisse-le, le serpent,
if I
mec.
want to learn everything about Albert. You didn't believe Albert had an accident, is that right?
Of course not. I'm not naive. I knew immediately that Albert had been severely battered, and I was sure it had been his brother, Hobart.
Bon, on vous dit qu'il faut pas mélanger deux rats ensemble, les gars.
Well, we don't know that, Dr. Quetzal.
Would you defend a monster?
Take it easy, Doc. One of the most critical elements of my job is not to make assumptions.
You're absolutely right, Mr. Featherland. I'm sorry I got carried away.
Honnêtement, c'est bon, les gars. J'ai peur qu'il fasse un screamer qui me saute dessus, hein.
It's all right. Happens to everyone.
Wow.
Pull yourself together, Doctor. What was Albert's condition after the incident?
Mind your tone, Detective.
Sorry, Doc, but I can see you're disturbed by these memories.
How could I not be? I'm not a monster. We're talking about a mutilated animal here.
So, what was he like after the incident?
Even more silent than ever. No surprise, I suppose. He was not only silent in words, but also in his soul and spirit.
What do you mean by that?
He never painted anything again, and his seizures completely stopped.
Hein?
What happened then? How did Albert disappear?
A few weeks later, Hobart came to visit Albert one more time. Albert had been in terrible condition by then. We even had to transfer
À cause
him
d'un
to another
accident.
cell, a more safe one.
What did Hobart do during the visit?
He didn't do anything. He just sat and watched his brother, who was in an almost vegetative state by then.
Couldn't you manage to draw anything out of him? You or Hobart?
Nothing. For a while, he was trying to signal something. Perhaps he was too afraid. And most likely his fingers had been broken too, so he couldn't even write.
Do you think Hobart could have killed Albert?
It's horrible to say it, but I'm sure of it.
Imaginez qu'en fait, c'est Albert qui a pris la place de Howard, quoi. Qui a tabassé Howard comme ça et que Howard a pu oser rien dire. Et qu'Albert a pris sa place. Ça pourrait dans un sens comme ça. Mais le scénario ne peut pas être comme ça. Le scénario pourrait être comme ça. Alors je comprends plus rien. Et c'est parti d'une histoire de graffiti, hein.
How did he disappear in the end? Did someone come for him?
That's what's most eerie about it all, Mr. Featherland. He simply disappeared. His door, which only I had a key for, was open.
Did anyone see anything?
No one. We interrogated the staff, even the patients. He simply vanished off the face of the wilderness. We don't know what happened to him.
Unfortunately, I have a hunch. Thank you, Doctor. You've been a great help.
Oh, well, I'm glad I could be of help. But please, I now must attend to my work.
We
Yeah,
understand, Doctor. Thank you.
Oh, 60%, c'est déjà ça, hein. Un flic correct, hein.
An isle of reason in a sea of insanity.
Insanity is such a strong word, and it's mostly an abstract idea. Where does insanity start, and how long is one not insane? Interesting questions. Am I normal, or are you? Maybe neither of us.
Putain, les gars, ça, c'est une de phrases bâtard, façon de parler. La folie est un grand mot, mais c'est surtout un concept abstrait. Où est-ce que la folie commence? Quand devient ton fou? Ce sont là les questions intéressantes. Normal, êtes-vous? Ici, aucun de nous ne l'était. Putain, le gars, il ruine le game, quoi. Respect, mec, respect.
You see, that's something I think about a lot nowadays.
Mais moi aussi, Sony, moi aussi, je réfléchis à cause de ça.
If you like, I can give you an appointment.
Oh, this is your chance, Sonny. Don't miss it. We're already here.
Marty, clock up.
Ouais. Ah bah, il est mort, hein. Ah, l'office, hein, c'est ça hein, qui se passe bien. Ah. Moi, je trouve qu'il est badass. Encore un lieu. On est bientôt à la fin du jeu, les gars.
A snake. I can't help it, but that's quite
I think you understand why we kept it a secret. If it wasn't for Mr. Wessler's demand, we'd never let any of our patients walk freely outside our institution.
Then the accident happened.
Accident? Ha! We didn't believe it, not for a second. After Albert came back to us,
Ça va être glauque, hein. Heureusement qu'il
horribly
montre pas l'image. Hein.
mutilated, he was different.
Different how?
If someone got one of his eyes poked out and his tongue torn out, he'd be different, but not like this. Albert was a different person.
We believe you, Doctor. So, can we take a look at Albert's cell?
I'd rather call it his room. Mr. West.
Thanks to the Wessler name, I guess.
Yes. Well, we try to make all of our patients stay as comfortable as possible, but
Au moins, il
Albert
avoue.
certainly enjoyed special favoritism.
I hope you don't mind if we take a look around in there.
That's not going to bother anyone.
Well, that's
What the
surprising.
I've never seen a cell like this before, that's for sure. I wouldn't mind.
It seems that being a Wessler gets you privileges.
And a healthy dose of danger.
Mostly that, yeah. Let's take a good look around. I'm sure we'll find some answers here.
Well, I smell paint, ink, plaster, some kind of oil, aging paper, slight smell of rat, and great expectations.
What the dickens?
Unmistakable. Yeah.
This place is bad for you, pal. But if you've already jump-started your beak holes, then sniff out the solution.
Hein.
I'm on it, Boss Bird.
Ah, c'est vrai que c'est beau. Ah, la fresque, hein, là-bas, on va
No
regarder. Hein.
way. Is this some kind of puzzle?
I don't think so. But we could still find something important here. A pattern, a sign, anything.
Là, ici, il y a le chat, là. Maison. Voiture. Souris. Oiseau, là. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Donc le 9 et le 10. Ouah! Ah! Ça, c'est le chat. Ah, les gars, je me sens mal à l'aise. Regarde ça.
A small window, a small hope. Look at that, a letter. Identical twins. And looking at it, they may have easily loved the same woman. 2 men and 1 woman. Nothing good ever comes of that.
M'étonne.
Well, I wouldn't say that exactly.
Bon, pourquoi? Oh, t'as raison. Moi,
Of all the wild ones, Marty, please, stitch up your beak, okay?
ça commence à devenir.
Just use your imagination, old bird.
Après la photo.
Scribbles, newspaper articles, study papers.
Just like the troubled mind of a...
Yeah, but there's still a kind of order in it. It's just too intricate for you to comprehend.
Bon.
If you say so, boss.
Il est rarement joueur à oiseaux.
You know, I don't think he had it so bad in here.
You mean apart from being separated from everyone you love in an ancient mansion filled with madmen?
You're
Ah,
right.
si on met une console de jeu que je peux tout payer, pas de problème, je suis là. Hein.
As always.
What? Pas un plan cul, moi je vous le dis, hein, les
The
gars.
style. It's very familiar to
Et
me.
attends, c'est les mêmes photos que chez. La cougar croco, là, qui a ce gars le bordel.
You've been lonely for far too long, huh?
Not funny, Marty.
It is, a little. So this is an original Albert Wessler.
I think so. It's pretty good, I must say. And I saw something very similar in Natasha's room.
You kept me out of it.
Sorry, little boy. Maybe next time. Identical twins. And looking at it, they may have easily loved the same
À côté, tous les
woman.
races ressemblent, hein, les gars. Allez. Les gars, en français, s'il vous plaît.
Albert was madly in
Allez, go.
love with Natasha and would have done anything for her. I'm afraid he did exactly that. What do you make of this?
Apart from the fact the guy was totally insane? I don't know. What should I?
That maybe we've been chasing the wrong person all this time, Marty.
À quoi?
What do you mean?
Everything will be revealed soon.
Attends, c'est vraiment ce que j'ai pensé depuis tout à l'heure, quoi.
Why do you have to be so melodramatic all of a sudden?
If I'm right, this'll flip the whole case upside down.
Ah, mais moi, je comprends plus rien.
What's that, Sonny? A
Il fait
blurb
trop
from
chaud.
some
Le
horrible
ventilateur.
novel?
I just have to think things through before I come to any hasty conclusions, Marty.
Ugh, you're killing me. So, what now? Where to?
Back to Clawville, where we can finally put all the pieces together.
You're driving me crazy. But all right, let's go home.
Ok. Mec, c'est sympa.
Oh, I don't believe this. Those two again?
Ils sont encore
Take
là?
him out. My car won't last much longer.
Don't worry, Sonny. I was born to do this.
Ils sont encore là, les gars? Merde. Merci.
Are you blind or what?
Dans les pneus! Dans les pneus! Voilà, dans les pneus! Dans le canal, vous deux, une deuxième fois!
Whew. Well, that was close.
A little too close for my taste. And it only strengthens my belief. Wessler is desperate. He knows if we survive, he's done for.
Well, come on, what did you work out? Will you tell me already?
Sure. Let's put the picture together, piece by piece.
Ok.
Let's start from the beginning. So, we got a case.
Ça. Là-dessus. Ça. Presque, mais c'est pas encore ça. Ça. Dans le tableau. Essayons de cacher ce tableau.
Natasha tried to show us the painting.
Ouais. Ensuite. C'est ça, hein? Bah ouais, c'est ça, hein? Je le sais.
And that painting would have shown us the way.
Oh non, ça c'est... Ça?
To Ibn and Albert Wessler.
Ouais, c'était ça, je sais que ça, je sais.
Albert painted Natasha, so he met her on more than one occasion.
Maintenant. Amour fatal.
Which made Albert
Oui, c'est ce que je pense.
fall in love with Natasha. And on a fateful night, he killed his brother so he could take his place in secret and win Natasha's heart.
Putain, c'était ça?
So what happens now?
The inevitable, Marty. We're going to the Wessler mansion to confront Ibn with the facts.
You mean Albert, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think she knew about it?
Something stinks, Marty. The whole case seems too intricate.
Too many coincidences, right?
Well, well, after 10 years, you did learn something, didn't you?
Ouais.
9.
You're right.
Ah, les gars, j'avais raison.
Huh.
J'avais raison.
What?
You just laughed, Sonny.
What? No, I snorted.
Ça rigole un poulet.
No, you laughed.
Ah, just leave it, Marty.
I'll be telling this to my grandchicks.
All right, pal, that's enough.
Okay. So, Albert fell madly in love with Natasha and decided to have her for himself.
Ouais.
His best chance was to trade places with Ibn Wessler.
So that's why the torn out tongue.
Yeah, Ibn couldn't squeal even if he wanted to.
What a diabolical plan.
Elle est à moitié fou, hein.
More like insane.
Pas dimensionnel.
But why the messages then? Why the threats? Albert got what he wanted. He could have got away with it.
I'm not a psychologist, Marty, but remember what the doctor told us. Albert has a seriously injured mind and a split personality. I think his two identities were at war with each
Et tu
other.
crois que Natasha manipulait tout?
So the messages were written by one of his personalities, consumed by jealousy?
Something like that, Marty. But we can only learn the whole truth from him.
You're right. So, are we going or what?
We're going, Marty, to finally finish what we started.
Well,
Okay.
if there's anything you'd like to do before, do it.
You're right, Marty. It's time to wrap everything up.
On y go, les gars.
Hey, Lewis. You weren't awake all night because of us, were you?
I've never been this excited, Sonny. Seriously, it is a great honor to be part of the team. What is it?
You, Lewis, you don't stutter anymore.
Putain, en fait, t'as tout manigancé, Lewis. C'est toi le.
What?
Just now, you didn't stutter. Not even a little.
Oh, I must be exhausted. It happens sometimes.
And it's back.
So, thanks again, Lewis.
Ouais, t'es un pro, Lewis.
You always get us out of trouble.
Come on, boys. Don't even mention it. It is me who is grateful to be part of an adventure of the chicken police.
Maybe the last one, too.
Hey, Sonny, don't spoil his mood. He's so cute.
Oh, le mignon lapin.
Pardon?
Nothing.
Pardon.
I just realized. Ibn at the Tsar Club.
Yes, Marty. Albert's been Ibn for a long time now. Do you remember what Natasha said about him?
Je m'en rappelle plus.
That he's been acting strange recently.
Exactly. Like he's not himself anymore.
It was almost hitting us in the face, huh?
Don't blame yourself, Marty. We couldn't have figured that out just by ourselves. The whole story's too twisted for that.
Well, it's how we make our living, Sonny. And I'm sure we'll have plenty more twisted cases to come.
Who knows, Marty? It's not up to us.
Yeah, right. Do you think the asylum was in on it? I mean, covering up Albert's disappearance?
You know that reptiles give me the creeps. One of them even set fire to that ship. But oddly enough, the doctor
Ouais, le
seemed
docteur était
honest to me.
sympa.
He seemed like a patient to me. Seriously, I thought everyone was crazy in that place.
Yeah. Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process, he doesn't become a monster.
Are you still talking about the doctor?
Good question.
So, what's the plan? We shove the letter and our theory in his face and see what happens?
Bonne question.
Something like that, Marty. I think our presence will be enough.
I really hope you're right, Boss Bird.
We have no other choice. So I hope so, too.
Do you think it's a love triangle? I mean, could Natasha love Albert as well?
Good question, Marty. But I don't think so. When I first spoke to Natasha, she told me she loved Ibn in her own way.
In her own way, huh? And could she love two rats in her own way?
Pas faux.
Maybe. Maybe she even suspected the truth, but didn't dare admit it.
Les femmes, c'est compliqué, hein.
So, what do you think now that it's clearer?
I don't know, Marty, but I believe Natasha didn't mean to be bad.
I'm not as sure of that as you are, boss. But we'll
Et c'est
find
qui a
that
buté
out
l'autre au
pretty
début
soon,
quand
I
tu penses, la
guess.
femme?
I think Natasha was very much aware that wherever she goes, disaster follows her. But it's not her fault.
Really? You don't say. Someone remarkably similar came to mind right now.
You mean me, right?
Who can even read minds?
Maybe you're right, Marty. Maybe you're right.
Ouais, Marty. On va... Est-ce qu'il y a une troisième fois? Les autres vont faire une troisième
The
fois?
sun was shining, and all the ducks were in a row. I felt ready. The pieces of the grand puzzle were laid out on the table. I just needed to piece them all together. A revealing glance or a careless word, and I'd have the answer.
Ah ouais, c'est...
I knew we were in the right place. I knew it was nearly over.
Ça a pris cher la bagnole.
Was Natasha really just a victim? Or did she know everything? Was she controlling the puppets from behind the curtain? Well, if you don't know where to go straight ahead. What could possibly go wrong?
Ah, bonne question, hein. Il y a quand même la femme croco, là, qui veut nous buter, hein, dit. Et de sbires, quoi, mec.
Here I am, Natasha. I hope you're waiting for me.
Furry gods. I knew he was rich, but wow.
Half the city is in his hands, Marty, and half the Council of 12.
I think we'll catch a big fish today.
Don't count your chickens. I'm sure Wessler's expecting us, and Natasha too, I hope.
You hope?
If I'm right, she could be our only chance of survival.
Lovely
Oh.
prospects, huh?
I've had worse.
Mais bon, quand
Really?
même. What the fuck? De quoi? Pas le temps de niaiser, on rentre.
Hey, not so fast, chickens. Please excuse my partner. He didn't mean to be rude, it's just his terrible habits, as you may already know.
Eh, c'est Archibald, le bouc français, les gars.
Ah, look what the cat dragged in.
2 fois qu'on vous a semé, les gars. 2 fois.
Funny, I don't recognize them.
Well, maybe if they had some guns with them? Tommy guns?
Oh yeah, now I remember. The 2 suckers in the luxury van you shot to pieces. Twice.
Exactly.
What are you doing here, chickens? Would you like us to finish what we started?
Il a un accent italien, celui-là. C'est un italien et un français, les gars.
We'd love to have fun with you boys, but we need to talk to your boss. And while we're at it, the lady of the house is also expecting us.
Is that so?
Yeah, that's so horny.
In that case, I guess there's no reason for us to waste your precious time. Isn't that right, Gabriel?
Get the hell out of our sight while there are still feathers on your skin, chickens.
Salut, Gabriel.
Easy, pal. We're not even here anymore. This must lead to Wessler and Natasha's suite.
Let's get the big guns out and kick the door down.
Ouais.
No need for that, Marty. We'll wait until they invite us in, like real gentlemen. Then maybe we'll need the guns. But I hope it won't come to that.
Oh, my trigger finger's itching, Sonny. Someone's gotta pay.
T'as tiré 2 fois sur la voiture, c'est pas assez, peut-être?
Relax, Marty. Someone is gonna pay.
Yeah, just don't let it be us.
Olivia!
Ah, what a pleasant surprise. Hello, Olivia. Sweetie.
Get lost.
What did you say, ma'am?
Turn around and get the hell out of here now, if you want to make it out with feathers intact.
À la police, madame. Le respect.
Come on, Olivia. Don't worry about us. We know what we're doing.
Martin,
Huh?
don't you get it? You have to get out of here or you'll be in danger, and also her.
Do you mean Natasha? Please calm down, miss. We have to talk to Mr. Wessler and Miss Katsenko.
You really don't understand, do you?
On a compris beaucoup de choses, mais bon, explique un peu plus. Wow!
What do they not understand, Olivia? So, what is it exactly that our guests don't understand?
I was trying to tell the detectives that Mr. Wessler's very tired and doesn't welcome guests this early. He gets rather irate if he's being disturbed at this hour.
I'm sure Mr. Featherland and Mr. McChicken can wait here while Ibn refreshes himself. I'll entertain them until then.
Thank you, Miss Katsenko.
Please, Sonny, I thought we've already discussed this. Call me Natasha.
Natasha! Natasha! Dans quel truc encore ça? Ah, Natasha, c'est dans James Bond GoldenEye. Natasha! C'est une russe.
Please, Natasha, can we talk to you in private?
Martin?
It's all right, Olivia. These gentlemen are my friends.
Yes, Miss Katsenko.
Ah ben Olivia, elle est bien, hein?
It's like the vegetation's trying to suck.
Maybe it will. Maybe in 100 years, nothing will be here but
That's quite a dark...
Yeah, it is.
Tiens.
I tried to warn you.
Thanks, Olivia? Huh. I wasn't expecting to see
Elle est mignonne,
Olivia
Olivia,
here.
hein?
She's real close to Wessler. But how much?
Much more than me, I guess.
That wouldn't be hard.
Oh, mais Natasha, c'est une femme fatale, hein?
The truth is, Ibn isn't really in a good shape today, gentlemen. He's rather furious. Are you sure this can't wait?
You commissioned us, Natasha, and we barely escaped with our combs intact.
So you know who left the threats?
Oh, we know much more than that, Natasha. We even know where you used to work. We talked to Madame Savas.
Ouais. Elle tente de nous brûler. Vif, de poulet rôti.
Wild gods!
Why didn't you tell us?
Do you think it's easy for a woman to talk about such things, that she used to be an escort?
Along with Molly?
So you know.
Yeah, I know, Natasha. I also know all of this was a trap.
Believe me, I tried to handle things the least painfully I could. You weren't even supposed to know.
A lot shouldn't have happened. Poor Deborah shouldn't have had to die.
Ouais, mais qui a tué Déborah quand j'y pense?
Dear sweet Deborah.
Qui a tué Déborah? Ça, c'est le truc que je me demande. Qui a tué Déborah?
Cold, stiff Deborah.
Please don't say that.
A price worth paying?
You cannot think I had anything to do with that. You just cannot.
Mais qui a tué Déborah? C'est la question que je me
I
pose.
don't know, Natasha.
Please, Sonny, tell me, what is going on?
Ah, beaucoup de choses.
You have to know, right?
Please.
Excuse me for making you wait, detectives. I'm having a rough morning after a long night.
Is that so? Our night was also kind of
Ouais,
long.
tes hommes m'ont tiré dessus 2 fois.
To put it mildly.
I was just telling the gentlemen that you were exhausted, my dear, and they should come back another time. I'll escort them out.
Oh, honey, no need for that. My door's always open to the legendary chicken police. Please, come on in, guys. Let's talk in my room.
Then this way, please.
You just stay here, my darling. I'm sure our conversation will bore you to death. Please, go and refresh yourself, or tell Olivia to go make some coffee.
Okay.
Yes, dear. Whatever you like.
Please, follow me, gents.
Perso, je trouve le rap plus badass que... Ah.
Lead on, Wessler. So long, sweetheart.
Goodbye.
Elle est partie où?
I tried to. Thanks? This place is incredible.
Because you know what lies behind the beauty.
With Natasha too.
I haven't decided yet. You know, I had a dream before we came here. I saw Natasha.
And? What does that tell you?
I don't know, Marty. I admit it. I haven't been this on edge for a long time.
I'm just angry. Truth is, I'm not entirely sure why.
Your sense of justice kicking in?
More like my sense of don't fuck with the chicken police.
Oh.
Maybe you should talk to her. She was your girlfriend after all.
We only had 2 dates, and...
Why am I not surprised?
Ouais. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a d'autre dessus? On va se faire buter, c'est ça? Ah, il y a un personne qu'on sait pas qui c'est.
Identical twin. I haven't dusted you off. Ironic, but it's a piece of a... It's like...
Do you mean the
both, I guess.
There she is.
Yeah, our fit.
And what lovely hands they are, huh?
Ouais.
With sharp claws, Marty.
Ouais, je suis con. Con.
Interesting. Now that I know who he really is, he doesn't even resemble Ibn Wessler.
So, what do you want to know? I've heard you've been through a rather eventful few
T'as
days.
pas aidé, mec. Albert.
Oh, you have rather good informants.
Yeah, that's true. I should tell you, I see and hear everything that happens in the city. And you are exceptionally resilient. No offense.
None taken. But tell me, are we gonna flatter each other for a long time, or are we...
Straight to the point. I like it. Yeah, so let's continue like that, shall we? What do you want?
Ouais, que les deux gars qui
How
nous ont
dare you
tiré dessus,
intrude
c'est une
upon me in
invitation.
my own house?
Oh, forgive us. Our moral compass has been confused a little bit after someone tried to kill us several times in the last 48 hours. With fire, with machine guns. I could go on.
And while we're at it, you could answer some of our questions. If you've nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear.
And then we'll just leave you alone.
All right. I'll go along with your childish little game. I would have had a long and...
With pleasure, Mr. Wessler. About the painting.
Yeah. My brother Albert made it. He's a great talent, but,
c'est.
still, he's a rather troubled individual.
Such self-criticism.
What did you say?
My partner means that you and your brother are very much alike. Identical twins, if I'm not mistaken.
Indeed. But, what does that have to do with the painting?
We'll get to that. Don't worry, Mr. Wessler. So Albert made the painting at your request, is that right? And the one that's in Natasha's room in the Tsar, too.
Yeah, exactly. Is that a crime?
No, it's not a crime in itself.
Ouais, là, on voit qu'il manque une partie du tableau, c'est cool.
This picture, it's rather strange, you know?
Why do you think so? It's just me, Natasha, and my brother.
The photo doesn't tell much in itself, yes. But if you already have the right information, suddenly it starts to talk.
Really?
He fell in love with her, didn't he?
Who do you mean?
Albert, of course. He fell in love with Natasha. All those sessions while he was painting the pictures.
You mean, me?
You.
No. I mean, while Albert was painting, yeah, but I wasn't there all the time. Albert was there, all along.
Il s'est trahi.
And you think he could have fallen in love with Natasha? That's why he escaped? What do you think happened to him? Who tore out his tongue?
I have no idea.
Did Natasha know about what happened to your brother?
No, of course not.
Do you love beautiful things, Wessler?
Why do you ask that? Yeah, of course.
You were afraid of losing her, weren't you? To him.
Stop. Enough. If you want to ask something, ask clearly. Don't play with me. You understand?
Okay.
We're just doing our job.
Then do it clearly. And quickly. Yeah, I'm really starting to lose my patience.
Bah, Natasha, hein?
I have no idea what she sees in you. But Natasha's been seriously worried about you.
Yeah, she, really worries more than usual, but it...
Disgusting, all right. Do you know why that word exactly? Why did they write that specific word everywhere?
Ouais, pourquoi?
Since you've been to the Nile, I guess you know the answer to your question.
Didn't it bother you, Wessler, what Natasha used to do?
Why? Did it upset you when you discovered your wife did the same thing?
What did you just say?
Wow, faut pas en venir là, monsieur Wessler, hein?
What did you think, chicken? That I didn't know? Yeah, don't make me laugh. I know about everyone who ever set foot in that place. I can even tell you who Molly's regulars were.
On joue pas à ça, hein?
You son of a bitch.
Sonny, don't.
Chicken style? Je vais lui mettre un coup de poing? Préparez-vous, les gars! Chicken style!
Yes, detective?
Not yet.
You're right, Marty. It's not worth it.
Il a pas fait le chicken style. Oh, d'un côté, je suis triste. De l'autre côté, tant mieux.
You're funny, you know that?
We visited Albert's cell and found something he seems to have forgotten to take with him in his great hurry.
That's a big mistake.
A classic, even.
What the hell are you babbling about?
This is Albert Wessler's love letter to Natasha.
More like a confession.
In which he tells her he's capable of doing anything for her, even the most horrible.
C'est en anglais, donc j'ai rien pigé ce qui était marqué, hein.
Yeah, this letter doesn't prove anything at all. Albert is mad. Insane. He's not normal. No one would believe his word, don't you understand?
But they believe yours, right? Because you're not Albert Wessler. You're Hobart Ibn Wessler, aren't you? How good it feels to be in his skin.
How dare you?
How dare you? Oh, mister, how dare you?
Just tell him, Sonny. I'm getting tired of this.
You're just a cheap fake, Albert. You couldn't follow in your brother's footsteps even if you wanted to. No matter how hard you tried, you couldn't get Natasha either. Am I right?
What? What did you just say?
She hates you, doesn't she? She doesn't know. She doesn't understand why. But she hates you. It's instinctive.
Yeah, what do you know? What could you possibly know about suffering and loneliness and the darkness? What could you know about hate?
Si tu veux de la haine, bah fais-les sur Twitter, mec. Tu verras ce que c'est. Wow!
Albert is an imposter. He's not who he says he is, and might not even know who he really is. I have to concentrate on this first, to soften him up, and to avoid us being shot in the gizzard, of course.
Oh. Ah ouais, non, là c'est hard là. Oui, je suis dans le noir.
What were you thinking, Albert? How?
Until the end of my life, if needs. Yeah, I cared about nothing except for her to love me. Not for who Ibn was, but for who I am.
Why did you think that would happen? Everybody noticed the change.
Yeah, I knew it would be hard, Santino. But I also knew animals see what they want to see. I didn't have to behave like Ibn. They only had to believe I'm him.
Why did you decide to take your brother's place?
Yeah, as you're curious. From the moment I laid eyes on Natasha for the first time. But I had to convince myself that this was the only way.
Et comme t'as coupé la langue de ton frère et t'as arraché l'œil, et il était sympa avec toi ton frère, mais c'est un salaud en fait.
You've never talked about your feelings for Natasha with your brother, am I right?
Are you insane? Yeah, Ibn would have had me killed immediately. And no one would ever know.
So instead, you've done the same thing, haven't you? What a comfortable excuse.
Comfortable? Do you think all of this was just some kind of cruel game for me? I had to destroy the person I loved and respected the most.
Cry me a river.
Yeah, you know, there's only a thin, fragile membrane between love and hate. If anything touches it, it tears immediately. You felt like this before, haven't you? Yeah, I can see it in your eyes.
You can analyze me until the sun goes down, Wessler, but you won't get far with that.
Yeah, evasive answer. So I'm right.
Lui à croire que tu m'aimes, pourquoi me mutiler bien, pourquoi alors? Ouais, pourquoi avoir tué? Non, là, je suis juste curieux de savoir pourquoi.
Why did you have to mutilate
Ouais, c'est la
him?
bonne raison, je veux
Why
savoir
didn't you
pourquoi.
just kill him immediately?
That's an interesting question, you see, but the answer is exceptionally simple. No matter how strange it is for you to understand, I loved my brother.
C'est pour ça qu'il a arraché un œil et coupé la langue, mais t'es pas bien, toi. Je vais faire ça à mon frère, moi. Mais il est fou, le gars.
Weird way of showing you love, Albert.
Ça, quoi?
You can't understand that. He was my everything, the only one who was close to me. Until I met Natasha.
She took your brother's place pretty quickly, didn't she? There's not much room in your heart, as I see it.
Yeah, you're understanding the situation, Detective, but you know, very well it's not that simple. Ibn was my brother. I loved him despite all of his flaws and foul, petty lies. And that's why I couldn't kill him.
Not immediately, you mean?
Unfortunately, tearing out his tongue wasn't enough. Yeah, I must admit I've underestimated him.
And poking out his eye?
Oh, that was just an accident, Mr. Featherland.
Ah bon?
Just an accident? You're a dirty, clucking son of a vermin, Albert.
C'est un rat, c'est une vermine.
Please, don't be vulgar, Sonny. It's too dangerous in your current situation, and doesn't even suit you.
So you feel you're two people at the same time? Even...
Does it sound crazy? Maybe it is. but Ibn lives inside me. Sometimes he's even stronger than Albert ever was.
Do you think you can avoid the gas chamber with this, Albert?
I don't have to avoid anything, Sonny. You and your friend, will never leave this place.
You're not the cold-blooded killer you'd like to think you are.
Ouais, ça quoi?
Yeah, do you think so? Try me, detective.
What would you have done if Natasha found out? Kill her, too?
You know what? Maybe, yeah. Maybe I would have ended myself, too.
Pourquoi pas faire l'inverse?
Narcissistic pricks like you never commit suicide, Albert.
Yeah. Are you sure you want to insult someone who's pointing a revolver at your stomach, detective?
Whoa!
That was your plan. Take his place and live happily ever after.
Why? Isn't it good enough of a plan, Mr. Featherland? It was perfect, even in its imperfection.
Oh, mais j'ai deviné quand j'étais à l'asile, moi.
Which is?
Ibn's ghost.
Is what?
Please don't take it literally, Mr. Chicken. I'm not talking about spirits. When Ibn died, I didn't just take his place, but also his role. He himself, his essence, if you will. Yeah.
Un mec, il tremble.
Too much for you to understand.
T'as tiré.
So you mean Ibn's here with us even now?
He was here all along. Don't you get it? I am Hobart Ibn Wessler.
I must get serious, because looking at the gun in Wessler's trembling hand, I'm afraid I don't have much time. Albert is a cruel psychopath, but maybe I can turn that cruelty
Ah ouais, il tremble, j'ai vu
against
ça.
him. When was the moment you decided to kill him, Albert?
When I drew the last stroke on that fatal painting, Mr. Featherland. When I glanced at it for the last time, and then at Natasha, who was shivering under the weight of my gaze.
You simply fell in love with her? End of story?
Not in the slightest, Mr. Featherland. Love is, just chemistry. What I felt was more than that.
Alors.
Everybody thinks that, Albert. But we all feel the same. We're just fools.
Arrêtez de trembler, baissez votre arme, arrêtez de trembler.
No, Mr. Featherland. Not at all. At that moment, I knew what I was gonna do. I knew that the world was coming to an end if I didn't do it. It implodes on itself and ceases to exist. I couldn't let that happen. I couldn't.
Let him have her, right? You simply wanted her for yourself.
I wanted her for ourselves, Sonny. I was him by then. He just didn't know it yet.
Qu'avez-vous fait pour Cubains?
What did you do that made Ibn get you locked up?
Ouais, bonne question.
That's a sharp turn, detective.
It just came to me, you know?
Voilà
Where did
qu'ils
it
ont se
all
proposer
start?
donc.
Where did all the hate and jealousy come from?
Jealousy? What are you talking about?
Oh, come on, Albert. Alone, locked up at the end of the world, while your brother is one of the most influential figures of Clawville, driving an expensive car, living in a mansion, with the city's most desirable woman in his bed.
La
Why
plus
wouldn't
désirable,
you
non,
be
je
jealous?
préférais celle au cabaret, mais bon.
Yeah, Albert was jealous of Ibn. Maybe he still is. But I understand why he did it. Albert was beyond control and dangerous.
What does that mean exactly?
Albert did our mother wrong. Poor old Mom. She never heard her fly. But Albert couldn't take that she was praising his brother all the time while Albert was just an unsuccessful, foolish, poor painter.
Non, Albert a tué sa mère?
What did you do to her, Albert?
Albert killed her. It looked like an accident, but Ibn knew it wasn't. That was the last straw. Albert had to be locked up, and he agreed. He never said no to his brother.
But he never forgot who did this to him either, did he?
Ibn was really good to him. Visited him every week. Did everything he could. Even introduced Natasha in the end.
And that was his downfall.
Both of them, Sonny. And yours, too.
Ah non, non, non.
Did you hate Ibn or yourself more, Albert?
Albert hated himself the most ever since he was born. He idolized Ibn. But every time his brother stood before him, he saw what he could have been himself if he had enough strength. But he didn't. Albert had always been a coward, a pitiful nobody.
Oh. Eh, n'empêche, je fais beaucoup de jeux textuels ces temps-ci, hein.
And now...
Pas Killer Frequency.
Finally, there's no more Albert. And no more Ibn either. It's only me, and for both of them, I'm perfect.
Can it be that the fear is making you say these things?
Stop calling me that.
I have to call you something. What should I call you?
I don't know anymore. I don't.
Ça pose des problèmes, ça, hein.
I'm very close to breaking him. But if I'm too hard on him, I could quickly be signing my death warrant. It's time to dig a little bit deeper and uncover Wessler's wounds. Natasha was kind to you, right? Too kind.
Natasha was simply amazing, gentle, kind, lively, but still so distant.
You're telling me.
It's like she was from another world. A world where everything's full of charm and grace and everything's fragile and delicate. Do you understand?
Ouais, je comprends.
I think I do, yes.
I knew Albert's touch would harm her. Albert is rough. Albert can't keep such a delicate thing in his arms.
That's why you had to become Ibn, am I right?
I didn't take Ibn's place, Mr. Featherland. I became one with him, can't you see? It's the only way I could comprehend and accept the miracle that was Natasha.
Was?
I think I've corrupted her. She's not that gentle and pure creature I painted on the canvas anymore.
Ouais.
I ruined her. She became rotten under my hands.
Maybe it's not too late, Albert. Tell her the truth and end this.
No. You can't understand this. She can't either. I killed Ibn, but he also killed me, can't you see? We're nothing without each other.
Compliqué tout ça.
You can't be two people at the same time, Albert. Nobody can bear the weight of the sins of two souls.
Ça, c'est pas con.
Ibn loved her. I admired her. Ibn was crazy about her. I've been crazy for a long time. Ibn idolized her, and I hated her. And
Non,
if
trop
there's
vite.
anything more blind, more devoted, more extreme, and more true than love, it could only be hate, Mr. Featherland. It's an endlessly exciting, thrilling, and warm feeling, and infinitely red. Just like love.
You know you're not going to be able to go through with it, right? That you won't be able to carry the weight. But you still did it. Why?
Pourquoi?
Yeah, if I didn't kill him and become one with him, Albert would have died, Mr. Featherland.
And the threats? Which one of you was that? Albert or Ibn? Who wrote them? And which one of you killed Deborah?
Bonne question.
In my world, Ibn and I are inseparable. Just like love and hate are one and the same. And I hate Natasha so much that I could destroy myself along with her, just so she would die with me. Are you familiar with this feeling, Mr. Featherland?
Chicken Police, peut-être, moi non.
More than life itself.
You see? We're not so different after all.
You and I have nothing in common, Wessler. You know why?
Why, Mr. Featherland?
Because if I were in your shoes, I would have pulled the trigger a long time ago.
Goodbye, Sonny.
Non, non, non.
So long. Albert.
Oh putain, mauvais flic. Non, 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 ne me tire pas dessus. Non, 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 Chicken Man, Chicken Man. Non. Non, 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 non. Non, 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 Chicken Man. Faut que tu survives. Mon poulet. Natacha. Natacha m'a sauvé.
So, you heard everything.
I heard everything.
Merci Natacha. Et désolé Natacha.
I'm sorry you had to find out like this.
And thank you. If it weren't for you,
Yes, both of you would be dead, I know. But believe me, I still thought carefully before firing.
Merci Natacha.
About who to target?
You know, I truly loved Ibn.
But this man wasn't him. You felt it, didn't you?
Maybe I even knew it. I don't know. But I still can't believe it.
It won't be easy to process for any of us.
Quelle vérité de tout ça?
I'm sorry I dragged you into this. And regarding Molly,
the cops. But how? How do they know?
I have no idea, Marty.
do not look at me. I did not call them.
Olivia?
Don't worry, Natasha. They won't lay a finger on you. I promise.
Please, Sonny. You don't need to worry about me.
I don't want to be rude, Sonny, but I'm more worried about us than her.
D'accord.
Hello, boss.
Hello, boys.
Now, before you say anything, we can explain.
No need for that, Santino. Monica already told me everything.
Monica?
Hey, boys. What were you thinking? That I would just let you get killed without saying goodbye?
Merci,
Thanks,
Monica.
Mon. Should we say we owe you one?
Une fois de plus.
You know already, boys. Shoes are my weakness.
Hey, mine too.
Of all that's furry, we don't want to hear that. And boys,
Yes, boss.
don't believe you'll get away with it so easily. I want a report on my desk from both of you with all the details. Am I clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. It'll all make sense, believe us. Right after I figure out myself what the hell just happened.
Oh Marty, je t'adore.
What Marty's trying to tell you is that we had good reason to investigate outside the law. But we're sorry.
What happened to you, Sonny? You're sorry? Did you hit your head?
Why does everybody keep asking that?
Why indeed?
So, can we go now, boss? Without getting handcuffed?
Don't give me ideas, Santino.
Thanks, boss. So, what now?
I think I should mourn, right?
Il a un petit morceau chez les cafards.
You should.
But I don't know what to feel anymore, Sonny.
Putain, on a pris cher, couper la langue, l'œil crevé, tabassé. Et puis elle était butée, quoi. Oh, le pauvre.
I understand, Natasha. You know, if you need anything,
Yes, I know where to find you.
see you around, sweetheart.
Ma'am?
Goodbye, detectives.
Tiens,
How the hell did you find your way here, Tim? Always where the trouble is.
Sometimes I think you're the criminal mastermind behind all the dark dealings in this city.
eh, c'est possible, hein.
I wish.
I wish too.
Comme Fantomas.
Because then we could legally throw you in jail.
I love your sense of humor, Sonny.
I wasn't joking.
So, where did you get the scoop?
Are you kidding me? The whole city's talking about you. You've left quite the mess behind.
On n'a rien foutu. On n'a rien foutu. On s'est fait tirer dessus. Attaché dans un bateau. Le bateau était mis en feu. Et on n'a rien foutu.
That I admit.
Well, it's a miracle that all of the city's smear sheet journalists aren't here already. Oh, while we're at it, will you give me an exclusive interview?
Pluck off, Tim.
Hey!
What? Are you waiting for me to change my mind?
Oh.
No, sir.
Then stop pecking around here.
Yes, sir.
Merci, Monica.
Thanks again, Mon. If not for you, those fur heads would have put holes in us.
No wonder, since you put holes in their boss.
Well, actually, that wasn't us.
Then who was it?
Natasha.
Really? I wouldn't have thought it of her. It's a pleasant surprise.
It was for us too, believe me.
Ah, moi, j'ai eu peur, hein. Oh putain. Oh Bosco.
You're a good boy, Bosco. Nice work.
You know, folks, somebody's gotta take care of the real police work while you're tearing up the city.
On n'a rien fait, c'est deux gars à côté de toi.
Sorry for the mess, Bosco, but you know us.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do.
How did you catch them? After the gunshot, I was sure these two would show up. They have a habit of doing that.
They were already in cuffs before then, Sonny. We had the house surrounded. If you could have hung on, maybe nobody would have died.
Hey, a second longer and it would have been us.
That's your story.
Allô?
Cluck you sideways, Bosco.
T'as raison, Sonny. Ta gueule, Bosco. Ta gueule. Ah. Ouh, j'aime bien.
Gentlemen.
Gentlemen?
Oh, il est vénère, l'autre.
We're honestly very sorry it had to end like this.
Yeah, this peacefully.
For myself, I'm glad, gentlemen. I would have sincerely regretted it if we had to shoot both of you, but unfortunately, that seemed to be the only solution to this rather nasty situation. Fortunately, it didn't turn out that way. Joyful.
T'as raison, Archibald. Archibald, c'est un bro. Même si on le tirait dessus, c'est un bro, Archibald.
Don't think we'll be behind bars for long, chickens. Whistler may be dead, but his empire still won't crumble.
Oh, look at that. He can talk.
In complex sentences, too.
Yeah, or something like that.
Amazing.
Ah, Olivia.
Hey, Olivia.
Marty?
I just, wanted to thank you.
For what exactly?
For trying to save us.
I didn't do it only for you, believe me. I loved my job while I had it. Now my employee is dead, so I don't have a job anymore.
Elle a pas tort.
I didn't even think of that.
Of course you didn't.
Can I do anything to help?
I think I'll manage. I always do.
Is this a mansion?
Or a small city.
Well, if it comes to hide and seek...
A serious advantage.
Eh, Filmar.
You. What are you doing here?
Ouais, qu'est-ce que tu fais là depuis le temps
I
que-
was just driving around. You know.
Trying to feed your grandpa? So? Was it a case? Were you, maybe investigating us?
What can I say, Sonny? Am I busted?
Did someone hire you to follow us?
I just had to keep an eye on you and not get involved. That's all. I admit there were a couple of crazy situations when it was hard not to.
M'étonnes, Filmar, tu m'étonnes.
But you managed somehow, right?
A professional's a professional, my friend.
Yeah, thanks. So you won't tell us who hired you, whatever we do?
Molly, je parie que c'est Molly.
Unfortunately, I can't, my friend. I made a promise.
You and your promises.
Some people still take them seriously.
You're a real piece of guano. You know that?
Of course. I've learned everything from you, you old fart.
Oh oh.
Huh, one of
Wessler's ancestors were poor cobblers. More likely,
I wonder how chivalry is compatible with organized.
Ibn was planning to leave the underworld.
When his twin brother tore out his tongue, poked out his eye, killed him, and took his place.
Yeah.
So, here they are, ladies and gentlemen. The Chicken Police, in the flesh.
Yeah, c'est nous.
Damn it, Tim, drop it and cluck off.
Va te faire pondre, ouais. Peut-être de garder cette insulte va te faire pondre.
Oh, no, boys. This time, you deserve it.
Merci, chef.
What the cluck did you say, boss?
Stand up straight and try to look like someone who's glad to be alive.
Yes, sir, we'll try.
Ooh, attention Chicken Police, say cheese.
Avec son gun. Je crois pas, avec son gun. Ah, on fait la une, les gars, on fait la une. Eh bah, c'était Chicken Police, les gars. Le jeu était sympa, il était pas mal. Je dirais pas que c'est le meilleur jeu que j'ai fait comme ça. J'ai préféré dans le genre textuel comme ça. On va laisser la musique. Eh, ça c'est cool ça qu'on voit l'équipe là des créateurs. Et de ceux qui ont fait les personnages. What the fuck? Attendez, ça a été fait de plusieurs années. Je comprends rien. Eh, le final est pas mal la musique de fin, hein, je trouve. Oh, chacha! Oh, chacha! Ah, regarde, pour toi, il y a un chacha. À 1h47, il y a un chacha. Je vais sur la musique. J'adore les endings avec des musiques comme ça. Non, après Killer Frequency, ce jeu-là, il était un peu moins fun que Killer Frequency. C'est tout de même fun. Je mettrais un bon 3,5 sur 10. Sur 5. 3,5 sur 5. L'ambiance film noir, j'adore. Dargas, la musique, sérieux! Dargas, la musique! Dargas, t'as plombé la musique! Savoure! Savoure la musique! Bah, comme toi, le jeu est fini. Et t'as manqué un chat en plus. À 1h47, il y a une photo d'un chat. Le jeu était sympa. Pas aussi fun que Killer Frequency, mais sympa quand même. Un bon 3 étoiles et demie sur 5. Honnêtement, j'aime bien les expériences comme ça, des petits jeux courts comme ça. J'aime bien faire des petits jeux courts, un peu enquête, film noir, tout ça. Mon chat, je sais pas, parti quelque part là-bas. Hop, on ne sait pas. Ah.
Natasha?
You were expecting me, weren't you?
I wouldn't say that, but I'm not surprised.
I just wanted to talk to you.
About what exactly?
You know very well.
De Molly.
What do you think, Natasha? Why didn't she tell me?
Because she loved you.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for you, she may have never left the place. Perhaps she'd still be there.
Ah, sheep shit.
We used to dream about falling in love with a nice man who comes and saves us someday. A knight in shining armor.
Ah bon poulet,
You
hein?
know, like in the fairy tales.
And how did that work out for you?
She fell in love with a good guy. I didn't. I envy her.
I'm not that good guy, Natasha. But if it's any consolation, she could have found him. Maybe she's living with him right now, somewhere on the other side of the world.
Well, goodbye, Sonny.
So long, sweetheart. Hey, Natasha, you have a light? I've been trying to smoke this sorry-ass cig all day. It's driving me crazy.
Maybe you don't really need it.
Maybe you're right. Maybe.
Call me. 555 223. Merde. Eh, si je refaisais le jeu en faisant 555 223. En fait, si je refais le jeu que je fasse ça, il y aura d'autres histoires, les gars. Multiples fins. Il y aura d'autres histoires, peut-être. 555 223. Bon, on fera pas ça ce soir. Peut-être qu'on relancera le jeu une autre fois, maintenant qu'on sait que c'est super. En moyenne. Et 555 223. Cadeau pour toi, Dargas. Les photos de la maison close. Ça, c'est les personnes qui ont fait les personnages du jeu, quoi. Eh, il est là, le chat! Il a le chat! Un vrai chat! Celui qui a été utilisé pour faire Natacha. Le chat. Je viens de tilter. Natacha. Je viens de tilter. Voilà de Natacha. La mat, moi ça. Eh, mais ouais, c'était le trompé. Oh. What the fuck? Oh putain, la galerie d'art, j'adore. Eh, donc le gars vraiment foutu. Boubo! Boubo, t'as arrêté, Boubo! J'ai rien eu. Succès. Il y a beaucoup de ce que j'ai pas eu, hein. Les 10 romans d'inspecteur Poulet, obtenir grade, Frank Dreblin. Oh putain! Mais attends! Obtenir le grade Frank Drebin. Frank Drebin, le gars qui fait Il a été un flic pour sauver la reine. Les Nielsen. Des parodies de films de flics, quoi. Oh putain! Oh. Les gens vivantes. Trouver 10 premiers tomes, trouver les extras collectionnés, visiter tous les lieux limités. Continuer de jouer pour découvrir ce que c'est. Ok. Compléter tous les interrogatoires avec un grade des gens vivantes. Ouais, obtenir tous les ouais. Voilà, toutes les personnes du personnage, ouais. Obtenir 58 tableaux d'exposition. Wow. Oh. Produit à jouer pour les... Ouais. De quoi? Peut-être qu'on a faim. Regarde toutes les cinématiques. Il y a juste là que par contre il faut faire le jeu. Par contre. Eh bien les gars. Eh bien les gars, ce fut une sacrée surprise. Bien sympa. Et je vais finir la soirée donc je vais vous raid. Hein. Je sais pas qui occupe à jouer en ce moment.
Putain, l'enfoiré de...
Toujours poli, hein. Qui joue, qui fait quoi?
Sans doute. Je suis prêt à payer. Appelons ça une donation pour la prévention des dégâts environnementaux. 500 orins. What? Ça fait beaucoup. Les prix augmentent
Le raid.
et pourtant, il faut bien vivre.
Mec, t'es en harmonie avec la nature.
Bah, chez nous, Nours, tiens.
Qu'est-ce que tu vas foutre de mon argent?
On va affronter quoi? Un tentacule niveau 29. Le raid chez nous, Nours. Ah non, non, chez Capability. Chez Kappa. J'aime bien Capability. Je trade chez Kata. Chez Kata. Kappa. Capability.
Quoi?
Allez. Vite, je pense. Mais faut rester pour le raid, hein, ça fait des points. Reviens. Ah voilà, c'est bien. Allez, bonne soirée. Salut, salut.